Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more Reddit detectives. On this subreddit, people from Reddit try to solve actual crimes and mysteries, and in today's episode, OP is looking for his dad, who went missing for some strange reason. Also, in case you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And guys, just as a little warning, although the first story is quite interesting, it is also a little bit sad, so just a little warning. It is titled, Dad Missing Since June 1st. Yesterday I found messages in my spam folder on Facebook Messenger from one of my dad's friends concerned about him. She sent the first message on June 8th, and then June 10th she and her brother went with the police to do a welfare check. Once I found these messages, I immediately tried to call the number she left, but saw on her Facebook that she died on June 13th. Through my investigation, I found that she was found unresponsive by the same brother that visited my dad's with her. When she went with police on June 10th, they found that his car door was wide open, key in the ignition, battery dead. His front door was unlocked and he and his dog were nowhere to be found inside. Police went again yesterday after I called. They had to cut the lock to his gate and they found the same scene. It is a remote property and he let it get really grown over. A search is happening today. This just seems weird to me, but maybe I am trying to make sense of nothing. My dad has been missing since June 1st. I don't really know the kind of company he kept either. Just hoping to get some more brain power to help me churn on this. Edit, yesterday I went up and spent the day at my dad's property with search and rescue teams. They brought dogs out and searched for hours but came up with nothing. The lead investigator took his laptop and cell phone and is working on getting into his bank accounts. Last recorded activity for my dad is officially May 30th. They reported him as missing, and if no leads come from what they've got, then it will be transferred to missing persons in a couple days. I'm not as concerned about the brother anymore. I found out the woman and my dad met on a dating app. He was apparently very popular with the ladies on there and they had a bit of a tumultuous relationship. As it goes when dating several people at once, I imagine. She was in poor health and I confirmed that from a voicemail I heard from her where she sounded terrible. She apparently died from pneumonia. My dad had some angry voicemails from his girlfriends. One in particular was super angry and followed up with another voicemail about how her new boyfriend did not want her hanging around my dad. That is my new top interest. My dad is 58. Edit number 2, the police are still scanning his laptop and cell phone, so no updates there. His latest bank account activity was May 27th. Apparently, the police did not even listen to his voicemails on his house phone, his main phone, so I went back to record those and to drop off a key to the investigator. I am reaching out to a lawyer soon because I don't really know how I am supposed to maintain his property. I did talk to the brother that went on the first welfare check with the now dead woman. He was very willing to talk with me. Someone wrote back to me from the deceased woman's account and warned me to be careful with him about the brother. I said I was sorry for her loss and she told me that the woman had a lot of people fooled. I got her number and need to follow up on that. Seems like a mess and I know my dad recently purchased vehicles from that family too. Currently, I am trying to figure out who I can trust in his crap town. Everyone keeps warning me that nobody can be trusted and it has left me feeling paranoid and alone. So I'm trying to balance getting the word out and also protecting his property. I really appreciate everyone's advice and support. I am surprised at how wonderful you all are. Edit number 3, no real updates. I've been frustrated at the county's lack of follow-up on the two viable leads, his latest love interest and the guy who went on welfare check number 1. They also haven't gotten all of his bank account subpoenas returned yet, so we still don't have access to his large bank account. I blew them up about this on Monday and they hung up on me and I called the supervisor back who invited me down to come sit with them. They basically sat me down to say that based on his medical history, they think he probably just walked off and fainted. It's not illegal to just walk off. I continued to mention the mysteriousness around how his car and home were left. They mentioned all the hawks and bears up near his land. They also mentioned how busy they are with cases that actually have bodies. Very tasteful fellas. They are also hypothesizing that when his dog died, that was his last straw. Still does not explain where the F his body is. Seems like they are trying to construct the depressed man walks off story, not the man using dating apps disappears story. Still have yet to get an attorney or PI, it's on the list. Everyone is really good at telling me what I ought to do. Meanwhile, I'm just wishing I could call Dad and talk with him about how crazy his effing town and his friends are. And a user in the comments suggested, have you called the local animal shelters to see if anyone has picked up the dog? And then someone replied, that is a good idea, it would help to know if the dog was found wandering without your dad, and if so, what area the dog was found in. And another user suggested, get him reported as a missing person as soon as possible, do this from the county where he went missing. Request the police bring out a K9 unit to his house to see if he might have walked off. It might be too late. Start sharing on social media and try to reach out to anyone that might have known him or his dealings with the days before he went missing. Edit, have police track his phone, try to get financial records, ask neighbors for any video from cameras like Ring doorbells and local businesses. In addition, I live in a remote area also, but I still have cameras around my house for my front door that show the street. Ask neighbors or anyone close if they have videos from the time he went missing, you might catch him walking or a familiar car driving. And another person said, okay, maybe I watch too much true crime, but this lady who goes looking for your dad ends up dead? And she is found by someone who went with her to look for your dad? That immediately stuck out to me as something suspicious. I'm hoping it's just an unfortunate coincidence, but here is my what if. What if the brother has something to do with your dad's disappearance, but to make himself look like he's not a suspect, he goes to help his sister look for your dad? What if while they are there together she notices and mentions something that may, unbeknownst to her, implicate her brother? Brother gets spooked that she's onto him and she ends up dead. Anyways, I hope I am wrong and I hope your dad turns up safe. It makes me hopeful that his dog was not left behind. I am sorry you are having to go through this. I cannot imagine. And guys, by the way, this subreddit is actually called RBI, which stands for, I think, Reddit Bureau of Investigation. And I would love to know what you think about this story so far. Please let me know in the comments. In addition, in case anyone is still curious, as you might remember, a few weeks back I had an accident with my motorcycle, and ever since then I am healing actually quite well, and I still have a huge bruise on my leg which is not seeming to go away quickly, but anyway, my bike by now is fixed and it actually only cost around 200 to 300 bucks. However, very unfortunately, the guy who crashed into me from behind, his stupid little old scooter will cost around 500 bucks to repair. Apparently, like things with the engine or something were broken, so that's why it is so expensive. Once again, I guess lucky while being unlucky because my motorcycle actually feels better now than before, but I'm still sort of surprised that this little old scooter will be so expensive for repairs. Anyway, let's continue with the story. Update to the missing dad story. Well, I just wanted to thank all of you for the support on my last post. Unfortunately, Dad and the dog are still missing. Technically, his last activity was May 28th, where he was active on Facebook Messenger. The police still have his phone, laptop and wallet. In fact, they've been logging onto his Facebook account and really confusing his friends who then believed he was back online. The most interesting update has been with the owners of the neighboring land. Dad would have them brush hog his land and he actually did not have running water for a couple of weeks, still doesn't, and his thinking was that they hit a water line when they were doing some work. Last, myself and my uncle talked to him. He was trying to get them up to repair it, but it didn't seem to be going too well. So he has several jugs of water in his shop and was showering at a friend's place. Would be a miserable way to live. I've reached out to them for more information on that. Also, regarding the neighbors, the husband came by to meet me on July 2nd when they did the second welfare check and searched his land. He told me that he was friends with all of the police if I needed any help getting information from them, as he owns a lot of acreage in the county, which is red flag number 1. He also told me that he had recently killed a bear that supposedly charged him, yeah right, and had apparently dug a grave with a backhoe to bury it, red flag number 2. The police know about this and have used it to try and convince me about the possibility that an animal harmed him. Most recently, however, the wife of this neighbor has reached out to me about renting one of the properties on his land. Dad was not living there, and it is a really beautiful home. They had wanted to buy it from him for several months, but he always said he would move up there after his dog died. She was old and smelly. He also had another family interested in buying the home, but he was very protective of it and wanted to keep it for himself and for me. How fortuitous for them that now Dad is out of the picture. Red flag number 3. The wife has been corresponding with me on Facebook Messenger and has offered to get me in contact with her attorney. No thanks. And she also wants first dibs on buying the land once that is an option. This was a huge shock when I originally received the message. On one hand, it is fortunate that I could maybe have tenants keeping an eye on his land and living in that beautiful home. The rent income could be used to pay his property tax, among other things. And it does make sense that they would want to buy the neighboring land. On the other hand, that is a motive if I've ever seen one. Dad was stubborn and would not give up the land to anyone, and now he is out of the picture. This family has been really helpful and kind, but it just feels sketchy. I have acquired an attorney from a different county because my relationship with the police has turned very tumultuous. I've been frustrated at the pace of everything and have been very vocal about my disappointment. I have begged for access to his phone and laptop so I can follow up on the leads, but that is an absolute no. They have apparently met with the state police and FBI, but I have not heard any updates. In fact, the county police asked my uncle, Dad's half-brother, if he would be their contact person because I am so difficult, to which he refused and insisted I remain the contact person. Thanks, uncle. They are extremely dismissive and constantly talk over me, and every call I have with them is a conference call with at least 4 people on their side. Very frustrating, to say the least. They printed me a flyer of his missing person case, but I haven't been able to find it on any databases myself. They said this is because I'm a civilian and it's a long process. Whatever. My attorney is thinking through the possibility of renting and also contacting the police about the bear grave. His angle is to see the bear's stomach contents. Smart, I thought, without being accusatory. I have been getting a lot of questions about an update and thought it was time to post one. Let me know what you guys think. I so appreciate this community and found so much support here. Thanks for letting me air this stuff and get some educated opinions. Most of my friends have been avoiding the subject like it's the plague, and it's left me feeling a bit isolated. And another user in the comments said, yeah, that, oh by the way, I dug a grave for a bear I killed, is super sketchy. So sorry that your family is suffering through something like this. And another user said, him telling you he knows the police and if you need anything to go through him, that sounds like he's trying to control the flow of information, and that is manipulative as hell. I have often read that people who are complicit in crimes like murder will show up to the crime scene, pass out flyers, help with searches, etc. as a way to keep an eye on the investigation, like a game of chess, so they can plot their next move. That admission about killing a bear is unsettling and sort of seems like giving an answer to a question no one asked. This is the best lead. I hope they are following up and just not sharing any developments with you to protect their case. I will say this, I'm a digital forensics major in college and we have been taught that police departments have very little resources for computer forensics, especially in small towns. So they may not be able to follow up on the computer stuff outside of logging into the Facebook account. I'm literally in school because I want to help people like your dad. This really breaks my heart. And once again guys, if you like these kinds of stories, please let me know in the comments and I might do more of this subreddit, because honestly I think it is nice to have a little bit of variety and these stories are really interesting. In addition, of course, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments if you want to support the channel. Thank you so much in advance. And now the very unfortunate update to the dad missing story. About a week ago I got a Facebook message from the neighbor's wife that a work crew had just found some human remains doing some work about a mile from my dad's. The sheriff and investigators went to retrieve it and called me later that day to let me know they were sending it to the lab to compare it with my DNA. Honestly, I was not expecting quick results, but I just got the call that these remains match my DNA and are thus 99.99% my father. A complete testing report will be sent to me when it is done. I don't really know what to say, I just had a lot of support from this sub at the times I was feeling so overwhelmed, confused and untrusting. So I owed you all an update. Part of me is grateful that I won't have to maintain his 31 acres for another 3 years, but part of me is just sad that my dad spent his final moments without me. I guess this is closure in some ways, not sure if my questions about what happened to him will ever be answered. And yep guys, unfortunately that is the last update to the story, so it seems like OP never really found out what happened to his dad, but at least he now has some sort of closure. And the next one is also from r/RedditDetectives or RBI, whatever you call it, and it is titled "Bell rings every night at 8:30 p.m. Every evening I hear a bell, it rings about 30 seconds each time. It's not a church bell, we live nowhere near a church, and even if it was, that's not the type of bell it is. It's also not a triangle nor a doorbell, it's not the bell from a railroad either. It sounds like a handbell, but not the nice ones they use in bell choirs. It sounds like a cross between a handbell and a big cowbell, almost. It's not like it bugs me or anything, but I've been noticing it for a couple years now, and I've performed searches at random intervals trying to see if it is maybe a religious thing or something, but I've had zero luck. It's possible it's not something that means anything, but with the frequency and the same time every night, it kind of does not feel like it is not. Any suggestions? I am in the PNW, which I suppose means Pacific Northwest, in a fairly diverse suburb. And a user in the comments said, if it is at a certain hour, the most likely answer is someone is feeding animals. They used the bell to call them, but if it rings for 30 minutes straight, then F knows. You need to pinpoint the sound a bit. If it is that constant and long, it should not be that hard. And another user guessed, crazy guess, someone's alarm from when they used to work night shift, their shift changed and now they are not home when the damn thing goes off. So they have no idea. This was the case for me in an old apartment I lived in. And another person said, probably someone's strange to everyone but them tradition. Or they are doing a call to prayer or just telling their kids to come in from playing. And the next one is an update to the mystery bell no longer a mystery story. So I posted a couple of days ago about a bell I hear every evening. I took the advice to try and find it, so my daughters and I decided to hunt it down. There are 3 of them, so we were able to fairly quickly find the general area it was coming from. We found the correct street on the first evening and we found the correct house yesterday evening. It is not a call to prayer or an alarm or anything like that, it is actually a guy who is autistic. His mom was outside with him and I'm so glad she was not upset. She said that they occasionally have a neighbor who will hunt the bell sound down to figure out what it is. He loves bells, but living in a neighborhood like ours, his parents cannot let him ring bells all the time. He has like jingle bells and stuff to use inside and stuff, but they had to limit his large bell usage. They chose a time when he can go out, ring his bell and then be ready for bed. It makes total sense now that I know of it. My middle daughter is autistic and while she is high functioning, she has got her quirks and rituals as well. She wants to give him a bell for Christmas, so we will be spending the next month or so agonizing over bell choices. I'm glad I brought this question to this community, it pushed me to search for the bell noise and I met a very lovely family in the process. Sorry, it's not a very exciting update. And you know guys, that's what I love about this subreddit, it's not all about missing people and murder, but sometimes it is just wholesome stories with a good ending. And the last one is a special story from r/Ripe Stories posted by Captain Dropbear and it is titled "Today I effed up and insulted a retail employee and manager by accident and got kicked out of the store." Well, Ripe family, this drop bear done effed up big time today. I might have been a Karen, I'm not sure. As always, Ripe has permission, etc. Before I start my tale, a little background info. I like rock climbing, upseiling, etc. and in my defense I only asked for the product I wanted to buy by its name, and to top it off, today was a hot stinky day and I was dehydrated, so not thinking clearly. So now that is clear, let us begin my tale of Karenness. There is a certain retail store that advertises they carry outdoor and sporting equipment to cover everything outdoors. Fishing, camping, hiking, boating, snowboarding, skiing, etc. Their slogan: "We have everything outdoors and more." So off I go to said store to buy a replacement rock climbing piece of equipment. So in I wander and begin my search. Up, down, left, right, all over the store I go. Nope, cannot find it. Let's go ask the employees. Me in my best known Karen voice: "Excuse me, but do you have any friends?" Employee looking like a deer in headlights: "Sorry, what was that?" Me: "Do you have any friends?" Employee looking a little upset: "I will go get the manager, just wait here." Me: "Okay, cool, thank you." Completely oblivious to what I had just said. Employee comes back with manager and security. Manager: "Yes sir, how can I help you?" Me: "Yes, I'm looking for some friends. Do you have any?" Manager: "Right sir, that's not an appropriate thing to ask. I am asking you to leave the store. Security will escort you out." Me: "Now I'm looking confused. But I only want a friend?" Security: "Please come this way, sir." Me like a sheep following security out of store. Security: "Please don't come back. No one wants to be your friend." And off I left, tail between my legs, slightly confused. It was not until I jumped back into my car I realized, oh damn. I walked up to an employee and was a complete Karen, asked them if they had any friends, then told his manager, "But I only want a friend." Bugger, I'm an idiot sometimes. And guys, this is a picture of the so-called friend Captain Dropbear wanted to buy. Essentially, it's a piece of rock climbing equipment, if I got that right. Update to the "Today I effed up" story from yesterday, posted by Captain Dropbear. Yay, I now have a friend. Well, I did have to go to a specialist climbing store. My friend has been repaired. New springs and we are all good again. It's been 30 years since I last brought climbing hardware, so my little friend has lasted me a while and was bought from a camping store in another country. I did return to the "we have everything outdoors and more" store with my friend in hand, found the manager and apologized for yesterday and showed him what I was actually looking for. He was cool about it and said they had a bad day yesterday, druggies, stealing, etc. all day, so probably overreacted. We both went to find the staff member I spoke to, so I have also apologized to him as well. So I am no longer banned. They had a good laugh when I said read the size and name on the handle. Number 1 friend. I have learned my lesson. In the future I will remember to hydrate and not half-dazed ask shop staff, "I just want a friend," like a crazy person. Take care everyone. And guys, unfortunately we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.